I will be turning it over to Dr. Barry Handler for the introduction of today's concentrator. And with that, Dr. B. Handler, it's your show.
Thanks, Wade, and thank you, everybody else. It's great seeing everybody again, and it's a distinct pleasure and honor to be able to introduce my wife, my favorite ophthalmologist, Suzanne Handler. She was born in LA, grew up in Beverly Hills, graduated from UC Santa Barbara. Her father was an optometrist, so I think when she was younger, she used to work in his office, and I think she always knew she was going to do something with eyes, but after she graduated college, she applied to both optometry school and medical school, and when she got into medical school, that's where she decided to go. But I think from the very beginning, her intent was to become an eye doctor, as it were. And she did a lot of research in medical school related to eyesight. And she got all sorts of awards in medical school. She was an excellent student. I met her as she was completing her medical school. And fortunately, both of us were able to do our residency training in St. Louis together. And we got married in LA while we were still finishing up in St. Louis. Had our first daughter in St. Louis, and then we moved back to the West Coast. But without stealing too much more thunder, I would like to introduce my wife, Dr. Suzanne Handler, your ophthalmologist.
Thank you, Barry. Well, this is kind of cool because now everybody gets to see me in my native environment. I can't work from home, so, but can everybody hear me? Great. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think Robert's going to run a slideshow as I go, right? But Barry is right about all those things. I love what I do. Ophthalmology is like the perfect field in medicine, as it allows me to not only, let's see, there I am. There we go. Hi, that's me. So it's awesome because I have continuity of care. Some surgical specialties, once people have their surgery, you really don't see them back again unless they need something. But in my case, it's very cool that I love to see people year after year. And even after I do surgery on them, they still come back for routine maintenance. So it's really the perfect blend of primary care and surgery. So here I am. My office is in Hillcrest. We're on the corner of Washington and 4th. And the surgery center I operate on is around the corner at 5th and Washington. And so you can always reach our office, obviously, if you want to take down this number. I think it's all on our execs information sheet. But yes, I am an ophthalmologist. I tell my kids when they were younger said I was just an eye doctor. And I said, no, I actually went to medical school. So I'm a real doctor, a medical doctor who specialized in ophthalmology. So we can change. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about my practice. Obviously, I have a fair number of you who are already patients, which is a pleasure. And so I'll just show you a little personal, as you all know Barry, right? We've been married for 25 years. He is my favorite plastic surgeon and the only one beside myself who I would allow to do Botox on me. And, you know, this is COVID. Lots of selfies. Our kids tease us because we like to do selfies, but selfies with masks. And we've had some fun vacations, and soon we'll have empty nests, and that'll be a whole new adventure for us. So next slide. So this is our whole brood. We have 3 kids, 3 dogs. And so we are always busy. Sarah is, we'll go to the next one. And so Sarah's 22. She's a senior at University of Oregon, and she's going to graduate in public policy planning and management. And Sam is a junior at University of Oregon, and he is a business major. And Claire is a senior in high school. So she is trying to figure out where she's going to go, but she might very well end up at University of Oregon as well. And then this is my awesome staff. I tell them that they could love me, and if my patients don't like them, they won't come back. So it's when you walk in, everybody, oops, hold on, go back. There we go. So Cindy is one of the office members who's been with me for probably 20 years. I've been doing this, believe it or not, like 22 years. And then April's been with me for about 10 years. Rich is a new addition, and Katie is a substitute. They all are amazing. Anyone who's come to the office before would know that. It's basically a great team effort that you feel that when you come in, everybody will answer your questions and give you the service that you need. Next slide. So as you saw, we do routine eye exams on healthy people like Greg Garner, and we do eyeglass prescriptions. We take some vision plans, not all, and we take some insurance and not all. But we always do, we're always open to just, paying. You can pay cash if you want a second opinion or any services as well. So we do routine exams, which includes checking eye pressure, dilated eye exams. Next, please. We do main treatments for people that have diabetes. If you have diabetes, you're supposed to have an annual eye exam to make sure that hasn't affected the retina. Cataracts is one of the most common surgeries performed today. Glaucoma is a common problem. The longer we live, the greater the chance we'll get it. And usually it's easily managed with observation and drops, but occasionally there are surgeries as well. Dry eye is very common. Most people have some sort of variance of it. So it's a common thing that I treat as well. Next slide. So cataracts, that's kind of my exciting new thing. And that's where I posted something on social media, and Vicky jumped up at it and said, hey, can you fill in? So here I am to tell you about the latest and greatest. So interestingly, with COVID, we closed for about 3 weeks back in about last March. When we weren't sure how things were going, the office was completely dark, and then we gradually opened back up, and we've done so with really good hygiene routines and cleaning and masks and all the things, and it's been great. And we're going, usual. People feel safe when they come in, and so business is as good as ever. I mean, I was grateful to get a PPP loan, and that helped me keep my employees going for that month or so, and overall it was a great year. So I'm quite grateful and hoping that the next year is equally prosperous. So what is a cataract? We're going to change slides, please. So here's kind of a cartoon of it, but basically a cataract is the lens that you're born with, and over time it gradually hardens and changes so that we don't see as well. It's like an internal sunglass, but to the point where it can affect how well you see. So what we do is it's removed. I remove it in the operating room under some mild sedation. And you're in the operating room for about 30 minutes maximum. And I remove that whole lens using ultrasound and incisions smaller than 3 millimeters. And then the lens is inserted into the same membrane that held your natural lens that became a cataract. Next page. So all the excitement and technology focuses around the lens implant. So there's all sorts of lens implants. I mean, even, a lens implant in general was like huge innovation probably 40 years ago, but now we have this great stuff. So if you have astigmatism, you can pay extra to basically treat the astigmatism in your eye so that after surgery, you won't need glasses for your astigmatism. We have all this cool technology. You can see the map of the cornea. You see that big red bow tie? that's someone's astigmatism. That's a topographical map, just like of land, of your cornea. And that lens next to it, you can see has little dots on it. Well, when I insert that lens, I can line it up to match that astigmatism and treat and optimize the astigmatism so that you hopefully won't need glasses after your cataract surgery. Next slide. What's really awesome though is now this other new technology where not only do you do that, but we can say, okay, if you're gonna, enter the high technology market and you want to get rid of your astigmatism, we can also give you distance and near vision. So a monofocal lens is like when you put on a pair of glasses and you can either see far or near. But most of us, as we get older, realize that you need a progressive or some other sort of solution where you can do distance and near. And so these lenses are giving us those options. So the Vivity is brand new. That's exciting for me, is that we can grab, there's new technology coming out all the time. And the great thing about being in America is when the technology arrives, it's typically been used in other countries for a while before we even get it. So it has a track record. And then once we know what it is, we can decide if we want to adopt it. So the Vivity is exciting. I've been using it probably for the past few months. And I have some really happy people. And what it does is it gives you some distance and intermediate, very active type vision. And you can use it in both eyes and get rid of glasses probably 80% of the time. Some people completely. Every now and then people need glasses for reading. And then the alternative to that is something called a panoptics, which is a trifocal lens. So we actually have a trifocal, and you can actually pick that lens, and that lens guarantees people that they won't need glasses for distance, intermediate, or near. And it also can correct astigmatism. So we can do all these things like at the same time as we get rid of your cataract. The other thing some people are doing, depending on whether they're good candidates for it or not, some people will have what's called a clear lens exchange. So you can actually come in before you have a cataract and just pay to have the lens removed and put in this new lens. And so it's instead of LASIK, because LASIK will only allow me to correct your vision at one focus point. So if you want to get rid of glasses and you're the right age and have the right type of eye, and that's all something we'd have to determine in a consultation, you could actually electively have, quote, cataract surgery, but it's actually, you'll never get the cataract because we just remove the lens. We put in these lenses and you're good to go with like distance, intermediate, and near vision. So it's quite exciting technology, and new things are coming down the pipeline consistently, and I love adopting it as, depending on if it's a good technology. And then let's do the next page. There we go. So I was one of the first ophthalmologists in San Diego to implant the Vivity, and I have about probably 6 patients now who have had it in both eyes, and they love it. So I'm very happy with that new technology. Next slide. And this is kind of an example where you can see if you have a standard lens on the left, how you can see straight ahead, but like kind of if you look at the GPS, it's not clear. Whereas with the Vivity lens, you not only can see far away, but your whole dashboard will be in focus. So you get like a huge range. So 87%, as you can see, reported they didn't need glasses for any intermediate tasks, which is what most of us do these days, compared to only 57% with a standard lens. And then 47% said they didn't need reading glasses at all. So it's a great, exciting new technology. New page. Good panoptics. I've been using this for many months, maybe a year now. People love it. It's amazing for them to be able to get rid of their glasses and just do everything at all distances. So it's the newest and latest and greatest as far as that. The difference in options between this and the Vivity depends on my discussions with the patients, the situation with their eye, their ocular health. And so, and it doesn't work for everybody. And the bottom line is either way, when you have cataract surgery and we take out the cataract and you put in a clear lens, you see better. It's just a matter of whether you want to get rid of glasses. Next page. Okay, there's dry eyes, as everybody can see. Anyone who's had dry eyes probably knows these different bottles. There's all sorts of treatments for that, and that's a common thing that I take care of. Next slide. These are called punctal plugs. So some people who have dry eyes, you can actually close that little opening in the lid right in the office, and it allows the tears that you do make and the drops that you do put in to stay in longer. So kind of a plumbing issue. No threat to ideal, okay? And then next slide. Glaucoma. So glaucoma is pretty common. Basically, it's the optic nerve, which gradually loses cells over time, as do all body parts. But in glaucoma, it's accelerated. So we try to slow down the loss of optic nerve cells. And the most common way to do that is with eye drops and keeping the eye pressure lower. The other thing we have is we have different treatments such as lasers, and sometimes that'll help temporarily keep the pressure down in the eye as well. And it's usually just a matter of monitoring over time with the goal of preventing visual loss. Next slide. And we have all sorts of fancy testing in the office. I mean, the neat thing here, you can see I'm in an exam room. So everybody recognizes the usual test, everyone's favorite, better 1 or 2. And then we have a slit lamp right there. We have electronic health records. And next slide. Good. And then I guess what I could do quickly is just do a little tour around the office, since we normally couldn't do that, right? So here we are in the office, and you can see we're going to walk down the aisle here, letting everybody see. I'll show you some of our cool technology. So this room has, this is a visual field test, and that's one of the tests we use for glaucoma. And then here's a laser that we can use for different treatments for vision and for glaucoma. And then this room, we have different technology for taking pictures of the retina and for measuring for your lens implant. And then this room has software for macular degeneration and observing the macula. And
looks like we lost.
Can't see.
Wade, it looks like we lost.
I think we lost contact. She must have went out of the Wi-Fi range of the iPad she was using. Fascinating stuff. I mean, that to be able to insert a lens and get rid of the need for eyeglasses. Hopefully she can dial back in here, because I'm anticipating that people will have some questions.
sorry,
It might be your vision, because I can see her fine.
There we go.
somehow my
He's back.
iPad just logged me out. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Well, I wanted to thank you guys all for letting me share what I do with you. I love it. And I'm happy to see any of you or anyone who thinks they might need consultation. And I'm happy to be in the execs. It's been a wonderful opportunity for me for many, many years.